Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome to my channel. What if the richest version of retirement had nothing to do with beaches, luxury cars, or eating out 5 nights a week? What if rich means waking up without dread, having your time back, and feeling calm in your home? Having enough money for what matters to you, and not bleeding money on things you don't even enjoy. Two people can have the exact same income in retirement, and one feels stressed and restricted while the other feels rich. The difference is what they value and how they intentionally spend their time, energy, and money. So how can you live your rich retired life, your version? Start by cutting what doesn't matter and doubling down on what does. And don't worry, this isn't a stop buying lattes kind of conversation. This is a build a life that actually feels good conversation. Before we talk about budgets or choices, we have to define the word rich, because rich is wildly personal. For one person, rich means eating out often because they love the atmosphere and the experience and not doing dishes. For someone else, rich means retiring near a beach. And for another person, rich means downsizing so life feels lighter. It could mean traveling more, even if it's just weekend trips. It might mean being able to say yes when your grandkids want to do something fun. Or it might be something quieter, like slow mornings with coffee, a book, and zero pressure. You don't have to want what other people want. The best retirement is the one that fits you. So here's the question I want you to think about. What makes you feel rich in your real everyday life? Not the someday fantasy version, the Tuesday version, because in retirement, it's mostly Tuesdays anyway. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Spend your time, energy, and money on what you value, and spend less time, energy, and money on what you don't. That sounds obvious, but this is where a lot of people get stuck, because they keep paying for things out of habit, guilt, or this is what responsible people do. You don't need a perfect budget. You need clarity. You need to stop funding a life you don't even like so that you can afford parts that you truly enjoy. Start with time, because time is the real luxury. If you don't like grocery shopping, why are you doing it the hard way? Order your groceries online and pick them up, or have them delivered if that works for you. And I know someone is thinking, but delivery costs extra. Yes, sometimes it does. But if grocery shopping drains you, stresses you out, takes forever, and puts you in a bad mood for the rest of the day, then that extra cost might actually be a smart investment. You're not just paying for the groceries, you're buying back your energy. You're protecting your peace, and you're reclaiming your time. And that's part of living a rich retired life, using your money strategically to support how you want to feel. Then there are those sneaky spending habits, those default expenses that just follow you around. Cable you don't really watch, streaming services you keep just because canceling is annoying, and subscriptions that you forgot you even had. A lot of us pay for those things because we think we should, or because we always have, or because we don't want to deal with the hassle. But if you don't watch much TV, why are you paying for it like you do? Imagine what would happen if you canceled all of those things that you don't use and redirected that money into something that actually makes your week better. Maybe you want to go to the movies once a week. Maybe you want a museum membership. Maybe you want to take a weekend trip. You don't just have to save the money, you can give it a better job. And then there's the big one, housing. If you don't like spending your days cleaning a large house, and if you're tired of upkeep, and if you feel like your home owns you instead of the other way around, it might be time to consider a simpler space. I'm not saying everyone should downsize, but I am saying it's worth asking the question. Because sometimes a smaller home isn't a downgrade, it's a lifestyle upgrade. Less maintenance, less cleaning, fewer repairs, lower utilities, less stuff to manage. And in return, you get more freedom, more energy, and often more money for the things that actually make life feel rich. Here's another simpler example. If you love books, but you're spending more at the bookstore than you want to, try the library. It's one of the most underrated rich life resources we have. Free books, free audiobooks, free community events. You could also trade books with friends and families and find those little free libraries tucked into neighborhoods. And the money you're not spending, that becomes your weekend trip fund, or your nice dinner out fund, or your just say yes fund. And the same ideas apply to shopping for clothes. If you enjoy fashion, but you don't love what you're spending, or you're noticing you're buying out of habit instead of real joy, try consignment stores or thrift shops. You can find beautiful, high-quality pieces for a fraction of the price, and it turns shopping into more of a treasure hunt than a mindless scroll. Then, just like everything else we've talked about, you can take the money you're not spending on full-price shopping and reassign it to something that truly lights you up. Maybe you travel more, sign up for a class that you've wanted to take, or even just having the freedom of extra breathing room. This is what designing a rich life really looks like. It's not necessarily about having more. It's about choosing better. It's about getting honest about what you value and then building your spending around that. You're not trying to live cheaper. You're trying to live richer. And I'd love to hear from you. What does rich mean to you in this season of life? Is it travel? Is it peace and simplicity? Is it experiences? Is it a cozy home and a slower pace? Tell me in the comments so we can inspire each other. Thank you so much for watching.